We're live. We're live. We are live. So you can see the description. You can see the name of this stream. We're going to focus on the new NVIDIA cards. Let me see. Get some things set up here. Here we are. So thanks to everyone who's been waiting for the stream. I just set it up about 20 minutes ago. And before I get started, I'll just wait, because people get notified on their phones and it can be a little bit, like 5-10 minutes before they get notified. So we can just chat for 5 minutes before we start talking. Prices. Hi, Salty. Yes, prices are one thing that we will be talking about today, without a doubt. And it's going to be the main driver of the conversation, I think. Right, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do? I need to move some windows. Good to see you, Salty. This video obviously is about GPUs. It's about the new NVIDIA RTX, not GTX, RTX 1070, 1080. Sorry, I've got it wrong already. The RTX 2070, 2080, 2080 Ti. Hi, Levon. Good to see you. This webcam seems a little bit out of place because I've got two. Levon, I'm very, very close to an Ether node. Very close. Like, in fact, if I check my settings, I'm like a couple of hours away. So I might not get a chance to set up a node, but tomorrow, but maybe in a few days. Hi, Nollis, not seen you in a long time, mate. Yeah, mate, I've got just under 5,000, so I'm going to set up a secure node, and what I might do is mine Ethereum, for a while, or maybe for a few days before I decide whether to continue mining Ether 1, perhaps for the super node, or, spread my risk around and I'll maybe mine something different. I'll need to have a think. Thanks, mate. Will do. There's some guides on Ether 1 website, so refer to those, and then if there's any video tutorials. What does everyone think of the new cards? Have you guys been looking at it? For the benefit of anyone who hasn't seen the new cards yet, from a price point of view, we are talking, here we go, $600, $800, $1,200, and in the UK, that transfers to 569,749, 1,099. I should really try and get the European website up as well. I'll see if I can get the European website up, and I can, see the EU prices. I think NVIDIA is overestimating the price. Levon said expensive. Yeah, I think everyone says they're expensive. Like 1080 Ti's are going to go down in price, but maybe not as much as I first thought. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think if the new 2080 is £750 in the UK, maybe 1080 Ti's will go down to 600. The thing is though, I'll get this up. I'm trying to get the prices up at the same time. Multitasking is not my strength. Right, right. Right, I'll do this first because I'm doing too many things at one time. Okay, right, I've finally got there. €4. We're talking 639,849, 1,259. I should have done that in the video earlier. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they hash. So, yeah, we'll just see what happens. I think what a lot of people are forgetting as well is that these are the founder editions. And if you look at the prices last year, my card was, say, 750 retail, whilst the founders edition was like 600. So a 2080 Ti from ASIC or, EVGA, any kind of brand that's coming out with an the boost clock a little bit higher, you could be talking 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. It's going to be a lot. You're drinking water and it's not Volvic? Oh, come on, Knowledge. You can't do that. You can't do that. So, yes, as you guys know, I'm a shout. I am wearing a Pepsi t-shirt. I've got a Cadbury's cream egg mug. And as always, somewhere, I've also got Volvic. So I'm shilling. This is how you make money in cryptocurrency. You do a live stream and you shout everyone. I've also got Nature Valley. I'm shilling everything tonight. I don't actually normally use this one, but I always seem to bring it out because it's a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. Well, recently. What's your thoughts on these cards, guys? I want to look at the specs soon. Long gone. As with all the other cream egg, all the other Easter egg mugs. Hi, Marsyus, or Marsyus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another Canadian in the house. Yeah, so as far as specifications go, I think it's going to be hard to say what the hash rates will be, but we can maybe speculate based on, you know, what the core clock and all that is. If I jump over, like, what do you want to look at first? See what we've got here. This is the 2080. So this is the one that's closest to the 1080 Ti. So this one, Marsyus. Ah, right, okay. Thanks. Sorry, I was pronouncing that way wrong. Yeah, so this is the 2080. And the thing is, it's comparing it to a 1080 there, but really you should be comparing it to a 1080 Ti. Because it is, you know, this is apparently like 25-30% more efficient than a and powerful than a 2080 Ti. But yeah, I think you'd have to look at, let me see, what do we need here? The CUDA cores, right? So if you look at the CUDA cores, 2944. Oh, it's just showing you both. Right, so 2944. Look at that, 4352. I'll try and bring up the 1080 Ti and all that, the original ones as well, and get the CUDA core specs for that. They are more efficient. I think the 2080, if I find the wattage, I think it's like 180 watts or something like that. Where are we? Where are we? Right. Oh, in fact, that's a lie. So the rumors were wrong. So this is something I didn't cover earlier on. They're saying the 20. Oh, that's the 2080 Ti. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Right. So I'll look at all the specs. So as far as power goes, they're talking 2070, 175 watts, maybe 185 for the non-founders one. 225 for the 2080, so that's the one that's closest to a 1080 Ti, and then 260, which is, you know, 10 watts higher. Kind of bizarre there that the founders edition is 10 watts higher than the reference. I don't know how they're working that. Well, a 1080 Ti is already 250 watts, so estimating 85 to 110 mega hashes on Ethereum. Yeah, I'll bring up the 1080 Ti specs, and then we can kind of try and do some guesstimation. NVIDIA, come on, bring up NVIDIA specs. So for a 1080 Ti, well, that's the thing. I don't know if this is a good. What's the best way to compare specs as far as mining goes? Because it's difficult because a lot of algorithms aren't core intensive, and a lot of algorithms don't care about memory too much. But from a CUDA core point of view, the 2080 Ti jumping all the way up to 4352, and probably higher with some of these other cards. I'm surprised the CUDA cores actually look a little bit lower than the 2080, 2944. So that's actually less than a 1080 Ti. CUDA cores. I'm not claiming to be an expert on that spec, but it's something that when I was doing a lot of research into what was the best card for video editing and all that before as well, they always referred to CUDA cores. You know. It was always the spec that they used. They talked about that more than the core clock and the memory speed and anything else. Send the pic link, Kevin Discord. Thanks for that, Lavon. Right, so I'll get that open. So Levon just sent me this. Estimated hash rates for the RTX 2080 and 2080 Ti. Right. If we assume that core counts can be used to determine hashing rates, well, yeah, they're kind of doing the same thing as I'm there as far as core. 1080 Ti is 3.5, right. This is the thing, you know, this was my point though, because it's using different memory. It's using GDDR6, and certain algorithms don't care too much about, you know yourself when you're tweaking GPUs. Some algorithms you can dial the core clock down, and some other algorithms, you know, Ethereum uses a lot of memory. With Equihash 1445, you can dial it all the way back down to like -502. Hi Chaos. Yeah, power consumption does look pretty much, you know, to the equivalent model just now. They look pretty much the same. I'll just share the link that Levon shared there. If I can, I'll maybe post this in the video as well. That's a good question, Levon, whether the Ethereum power will work. Marsyus is saying, you double the juice and get roughly double the output. Where's the deal or upgrade? This, well, the upgrade would be power. The upgrade would be power. So, I'm not sure what the 2080 Ti is going to be in comparison to the 1080 Ti. My guess, I don't know. Maybe 50% more efficient, maybe 40% more efficient. The thing is, at the price of these 2080 Ti's, there's a very good chance that for the price of it, and you enter the used GPU market, you could probably get two 1080 Ti's for the price of one 2080 Ti. So, do you want two 1080 Ti's? Perhaps, you know, maybe you can dial those down. My 1080 Ti's, I think I'm getting like 160 watts from them. So, in theory, for two, 320 watts if you overclock them and set the power limit down. I think you could get two 1080 Ti's. So, from a mining point of view, it'll be better. But from an electricity point of view, the 2080 Ti should be more efficient. Keep getting that mixed up. The thing is, as well, it's going to be a few months before anyone even considers selling a 2080, 2080 Ti or a 2070 second hand. So, I don't know. We are going to see the price of the 10 series cards go down though. Knowledge says, if these 20x cards have been the same price as the pre-craze levels to 10x cards, they've been a great purchase. But the whole mining craze shortage has realigned the pricing. This is the thing, guys, because it's a very good point, Knowledge, because it's very different. It's a very different situation than it was last year. They're launching their coins in a bear market, and ASICs are more popular now. We've got FPGAs coming out now as well. So if you're asking someone to spend £1,100, $1,200, €1,250 on a new 2080 Ti, and you're buying it, for mining, you better buying that. You could buy two Z9 minis, or you could buy maybe one of these new 8-hash miners. I don't know. I do agree with you, Marius. It is going to be fluff. We're all guessing at this point. Until anyone comes out and tests GPUs, I do think it's all speculation. It's all guesses at this point. But I do think it's an interesting discussion. We're going to see a lot more discussions again about GPUs, about GPU mining, about ASIC mining. These discussions are going to be, there's going to be a focus over the next week or two at least. The thing is, now, NVIDIA could be very lucky. If you look at what's happening in America with the ETF thing, the ETF discussion, we could be, they could be so lucky and launching in November, in the end of September, when this ETF thing is announced, and perhaps the price will shoot up and they'll you know, that mining will go up again, mining prices will go up again, and all of a sudden people are, you know, are buying these cards, the new cards. I think I might just keep my 1080 Ti's. You know, I think the price that I get to sell them, you know, I'd rather just keep them and use them. Oh, you're welcome, Marsyus. No problem at all. By the way, if any of you guys want to come on and talk with me, you're more than welcome. I can send you a link through Discord, and I can send you a link. You can come on. You don't have to be on camera. That's just something that I want developers and that to be a little bit more transparent. So yeah, if anyone wants to come on and talk to me about this, want to join in the stream, you can do. If you want to take part. So, do you guys have links? Do you guys have links for? You'll see a link, in fact, under the video for this. There should be a link, you know, for all the different pages, 2070 and all that. So hopefully you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see the specifications and all that right now. But what I can do is I'll jump back over to this article and we can read out some of the hash rates. I think that'll be interesting. No problem, Marsyus. If the 20x cards are just 20% more powerful without much efficiency, they really aren't worth the hype. You know, for me, from a testing point of view, I'd like to buy some. I don't know if I will right now because I'm still thinking maybe I'll buy an ASIC miner, but from a review point of view, I could at least buy one or two for my main PC or something. It'd be interesting, and you can obviously make your money back for them. Levon saying these cards are not meant for miners, they're going after the gaming market for sure. I think you could be right. Make up some lost revenue from the squeeze last year. But again, Levon, if you think about it from a gamer's point of view, you know, I've got Steam and all that as well. If you're a gamer, would you go out and would you spend £750 for a new card, or would you spend, you know, £1,100, or would you go and get a used 1070 Ti or a used 1080 or a used 1080 Ti? Exta on SafeCoin says you should do the math on a 1070 Ti versus 2070 on core count and boost clock. Non-OC to non-OC theoretically should be much slower in crypto mine. 5.5% less cores and 3% lower boost clock. I can copy that over. The PSU requirements are getting kind of silly. Levon saying he'd prefer a new card than a used card. I think, well, I guess from a gaming point of view, it's different from mining if you're not making money. Although I think if you're a gamer and you buy one of these cards at £1,100, you'd be crazy not to leave your GPU on and do some mining to try and recover some of the costs. Let's jump over to the Bitcoin Talk article that Levon shared there. I'll post this again just so you guys have it. Nola saying would be hilarious if the 20x have been gimped for mining and worse than the 10x series. I would love that. I would love that. Right, so we are not including any improvements due to the GDDR6 memory or clock speeds and or overclocks. This also ignores energy expelled when mining. The above figures are also on the low side, as recent software miners have been known to be up to 30% faster than the numbers above. Example, the miner I get gets a consistent 20 megahashes on X16R running on a 1080 Ti. If the 1080 Ti can hit 86 megahashes, that is a 56% increase over the 1080 Ti and a 177% increase over the 1070 Ti. But those figures for Ethereum mining, the 2080 Ti might actually be better value than buying a used 1080 Ti off eBay However, as we all know, the ASIC miners are likely to start taking over ETH coins, so buying a 2080 Ti for ETH minings would be risky. If I was the CEO of NVIDIA, I'd be trying to bribe the developers of Ethereum to tweak their coin to stay ASIC resistant. It's a fair point. And that's the thing, guys. What if you know what that guy says, right? What if Norlis is right and these cards don't perform very well from a mining point of view? How is this going to affect NVIDIA? Well, look at the size of that thing. That's like the biggest thing ever. It's going to attack me in the middle of a live stream. Is one of those things as well, because right now, you know, if you look at it from, you go back the last few years, do you buy the Founders Edition or do you wait and buy the overclocked one and all that? The overclocked versions, the ones that come out from, you know, by Asus, by Pallet, by EVGA and all that, you know, those ones tend to be better value for money, I think, generally speaking. You know, the Founders Edition as well, they always tend to be a little bit louder. The fans aren't very good. Marsyus, are you on Discord? Can you contact me on Discord? I'll send you a link if you're on Discord. The new Founders look good and they say built for overclocking. What the hell? Add an Acorn for $300 and for mining purposes you get more gains. Prefer the EVGA Asus models personally. Yeah, like when I looked at lots of the reviews at the time of 1080 Ti's, one of the main criticisms of these Founders Editions is that they run hot, they run loud. You know, the fans aren't as good as the triple fan ones from EVGA and Asus. Hi Britain, welcome to join in the stream if you want. Welcome to drop by if you can. Yeah, Mary, send me a message. If you go to the SafeCoin Discord, you'll see my name there, and just send me a private message and I can send you a link. I mean, as Marius was saying, it is a lot, you know, a lot of it is just speculation at this point as far as what kind of returns we're getting. Everyone's focusing on the 2080 and 20 Ti, and kind of rightfully so, because you can't do a pre-order for the 2070 yet. But I don't know. I mean, a 2070, $600 from a price point of view. I mean, what does that mean if they release the 2070 Ti later? Does that mean that's going to come out at $600? Is that going to be the price point of the Ti? I don't know how the 2070 Ti fits into all that. Look at the wildlife in this. This is what happens. I open the window when I'm doing a live stream because I've got all the fans running and then all the wildlife comes in. At the job watching you. Oh, it's good to see you anyway, Britain. I'm just waiting for Marius if he wants to join in. Levon, if you've got time, you're welcome to join in the stream as well, if you want to drop by. Yeah, I'm not sure how the 2070 fits into all this. It's kind of like the forgotten child right now. So yeah, it's dual fan. That looks like dual fan as well. They're all the same. Hold on 2 seconds, I'll get that for you. Right. Right, I need to get the link. I'll get the link for you just now. Right, where are we? If you go in there, Marius, you'll see me listed there. You'll see some of my comments in the general room. You'll see, I think I linked to this video as well. So you'll see me listed in there. if you want to go in, and then you see me, send me a private message. I'll check this here. And then I'll get you on the stream. Be good to have someone else's opinion on this. So many windows. Right, okay. Right, so the 2080 Ti. That could be loud. Dual fans are nearly always louder than the triple fan ones. Six times the performance of previous generation graphics cards. So what have they got here? We've got USB Type-C for virtual reality. VR, we've got DisplayPort, HDMI. What is that? Yeah, there's not much to go on here. Then you've got the bridge as well. This isn't something that anyone's talked about yet either, about the SLI bridge. The last bridge, this is something, I don't think I did a video about this actually. I was planning on doing it, but I didn't do a video about it. The last bridge, everyone kept saying 1080 Ti, 1080 Ti, don't use an SLI bridge, it isn't as good. But it depended on the algorithm. I actually kept my, you know, I used to have two 1080 Ti's in this PC. I've took one out and put it onto the rigs. But I used to put them in SLI, and I put it in SLI, and there were certain algorithms that it's not like you were getting less, you know, than doing it individually. So we'll need to see with the algorithms, we'll need to see how SLI performs as well. For gaming video, these 20X cards will be great once they fall in price, but I think for mining there'll be a bit of a letdown. They say that it's way quieter than the 1080 Ti Founders Edition. Keck, you can buy directly from NVIDIA as long as they've got a store in your region. Failing that, you may have to wait until you know, it's available in your region. Just me, or is my camera really grainy? What is going on there? If I put lights on, I'll just burn up. So, just go back to that article. Probably not. Right. So he's talking about, is the 2080 Ti worth the money for mining? Remember, you can score used GTX 1080 Ti's on eBay for about $550. Well, the RTX 2080 Ti will likely sell for about $750 when it hits the shelves. Right. That's wrong. Obviously, not to criticize me, didn't know the price. The estimated hash rates will be likely about 20% over the previous generation. The fact that NVIDIA CEO outright said that sales to miners will be almost zero indicates that they already know the hash rates of the new cards and they are disappointing. NVIDIA has also announced the discontinued production of mining specific cards. That was the thing before. They kept coming out and saying that they supported gamers and all that, and then they were developing products for miners as well. Yeah, maybe you're right, Nollis. Maybe you are right. Maybe from a mining point of view, these new cards aren't going to be amazing. I would buy from NVIDIA. I would say that anyone listing, you know, one of these new cards for sale right now is basically lying. It's very unlikely that they have the Founders Editions. I don't believe that they are shipping to any distributors right now. I think it's all through themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think it's only through the NVIDIA website right now, isn't it? For the Founders Edition. Or are they going to be sold as well on other websites? I think right now the only place to get it... is through the NVIDIA website, but I'm not sure. Maybe in local stores, there's certain stores that will have it. Can you see me there? Marsyus, can you... Crypto savvy. There's that many people at the right hand side. I'd have to... Can you see me? I've actually posted some comments. It's probably easier for you to find me than it is for me to find you. Yeah, the only place to get the Founders Edition is NVIDIA. Right, okay. Yeah, I mean, in a few months it'll be different. I don't know how long the Founders Edition is the exclusive card. I don't know if it's like a month. I don't know if it's 2 months. The page is blank. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're looking at on Discord. If you look at general, you'll see me. I'm the last person to look at comment, to post a comment in the general room. Laughing at the guy in a forum that was telling people in February to sell the cards as the new ones would be here in April and would be much better and cheaper. Wonder how he feels now. It's interesting though, because I raised the issue of selling my cards, you know, through my channel and with my friend as well. We talked about it, and I think maybe a few weeks before the Z9 Mini was announced, and then when the Z9 Mini was announced as well, I discussed the idea of selling cards before the drop in price. In hindsight, maybe that would have been the right thing to do at that point and buy a Z9 Mini. But it would have been very risky as well, because there was no guarantee that... oh, I can see you, bingo. There was no guarantee at the time, you know, what the... got it. There was no guarantee at the time what the Z9 Mini could do, so it would have been a very risky investment. Right, hold on. So I'm trying to get Marsyus on here for a chat. If the other card producers do have cards from PNY or MSI for cheaper, I would buy them. Better buy AMD now. Vega, Polaris, a very good price. 460, 560, 550. You know, we're going to have to wait. Look at the size of these things, these moths that are coming in. Look at that. This is the problem. See, when you've got a room that's bright light when it's dark outside and the whole room's vibrating with GPUs. No problem, Marsyus. 100 mega hashes on Ethereum. What do you think, guys? How close is Surfin's estimations there? Do you think you would get 100 mega hashes with a 2080 Ti? Hi Fancy, welcome to the stream. Yes, expensive. That's what we're all talking about. How expensive it is. Hi Daya. First it was Brexit, then Trump, now a plague of moths. I know, I really should close that window. They're probably in just now in this room making babies as we speak. 2080 Ti 110 mega hashes. You think the ray tracing cores can be used for mining? I think that's more of a gaming thing. That's what I read about that. You know, I think it's more of a gaming thing. I think. But thanks for the help. I'm in a tough spot right now. What do you mean, Cake? You're in a tough spot? If you're in a tough spot, I wouldn't be gambling any money. You know, I wouldn't be gambling any money on new cards. Dimitri, do any of these prices make any sense when the BCU 1525 is about $4,000 and the equivalent of 10 1080 Ti's? Yeah, it's a valid point. Can you hear me, Marsyus? Are you on? Not sure if you can hear me. You can set up your audio at the bottom left hand side. I don't know if you've got... Hi there. I think everyone should be able to hear you. Right, hold on. I'm trying to see... Let's see if... Can you talk just now? I don't know.
Ding dong, Avon. Yep. Buy another Krypton coin.
Right, I just need to change the audio for something here. Voice meter. Right, you've not got a webcam, so I don't need to show you. Right, you should be okay now. People can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, I just thought I'd chime in, man. good conversation, and happy to join in.
Yeah, thanks for dropping by. So what's your thoughts on this? What's your initial thoughts on this? Do you think for GPU miners this is buy, sell your old cards, or what? What do you think it is?
Well, I don't know. It's getting kind of messy, which is kind of what, the miners expected. We've been running this for a couple of years now, and all of a sudden out come the ASICs and big money. And so we're trying to push Intel and ATI that has always done just video games into, hey, push us where we'll just use your hardware and crank some coin out of it. And they're like, well, I don't know, man, that's not our selling market. So, I mean, we're kind of fighting City Hall trying to get these two particular companies, in this case, to try to cater to our needs. But, when you kind of look at the numbers, it's like, man, that's a lot of wattage, for one card. And then you add that into, 6, 12, 14, what do they got now? BTC plus. I mean, it'll come out sooner or later, I'm sure, and it'll be 24 cards or something. It's like, man, what are we going to power this thing with? Like, we have to plug into the electrical outlet.
Well, I think, like Norlis was saying there, and a few others said it as well. I mean, I think NVIDIA and AMD as well, they probably recognize that, some people say GPU mining is dead. I don't think it's dead, but I do think perhaps the writing is on the wall for the next few years, and we are going to see more ASICs and FPGAs. Like Dimitri was saying there, the BCU 1525 is the power of 1080 Ti's, 1080 Ti's. So perhaps NVIDIA and AMD know the writing is on the wall, and they've thought, well, we just geared this whole thing just for gamers and video editors and forget about miners. Maybe that's what the strategy is here. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're pricing it too high and perhaps alienate a lot of gamers.
Well, when you look at the specs, a lot of CUDA cores, there's not a lot of games that support, that many threads when it comes into, video game rendering. And so maybe they're trying to play both sides of the fence, but, at the end of the day, when you look at, we can grab a 1080 for $600-700, 10 Ti right up under 1,000, USD. I'm not sure other currencies, but now we're looking at these well over into the 4 digits. It's coming with a 20% increase, but it's coming with 20% power increase too. So depending on where you live, now it's you got to start crunching numbers. But I think at the end of the day, we're kind of it's all coming full circle. In the beginning, we all just did this with a laptop or a little USB stick that you bought for a couple of bucks, and you made a couple of Bitcoin a day, and and now you can spend $1,000 and make a fraction of a Bitcoin a day. And so, what's our competition? The guys that are making specific hardware to mine these coins. And what kind of graphics card company keep up with that type of dedication and concentrated effort? I'm not sure. They're going to have to kick out a mining card kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because their business model isn't, if you look at Bitmain, they're pumping out new ASICs every few months. NVIDIA's setup isn't, it's not focused on that. They try, every few years. The thing, that we've talked a lot about this over the last few months, the whole cryptocurrency community. And everyone kept saying, even when I talked about ASIC miners, they said, oh, you should be talking about them, you're a GPU miner. But let's be honest, if you've got $5,000 right now and you don't own any GPUs, no ASICs, no FPGAs, no mining equipment whatsoever, what do you buy? Do you put all your money into a coin? Do you put it into a masternode? Do you buy an ASIC miner? Do you buy 10 series GPU? Do you buy an 20 series GPU? Do you buy an FPGA? It's not as clear cut as it was a year ago, I don't think, as far as where the market is. But again, maybe this is what NVIDIA wants. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think you're right on top of it. Is the market has expanded. you know, and I think you nailed it. You know, you had basically two companies, well, three in the beginning, well, four, I guess, in the beginning. You had AMD, Intel, ATI, and NVIDIA. So you could CPU mine it or GPU mine it, and those were basically your four main options. And then you entered the bigger players. And, you know, it's not really affordable to go drop $2,500 for a USD for an ASIC miner that, you know, if they change the code, you've got a brick.
Yeah.
But with graphics cards, I think that the time is starting to come full circle. I think that the graphics card gaming hardware is beginning to come to a close, not because we want it to, not because I even think it should. I think that, you know, the good old saying of one card, one vote always mattered. And I still think it matters. But I think that we're starting to get, you know, a little spent out, you know, in the availability of options. So it's kind of up to, you know, the particular coin that you mine as to whether or not they resist that or support that or whatever. And so I think as long as you're very careful about what you get involved to and what you put your hardware and your money and your electricity into, maybe you've got a little bit longer. But I mean, realistically, and I hate to say it, I've built several rigs. I think that, you know, it's starting to come full circle, and it might be starting to come to a close here within the next year. But I don't think it's quite yet, but I really don't think that the new card is the miner's dream either.
Yeah. I think you can obviously draw some parallels as to what's happening with GPUs as to what happened with CPUs, you know, a few years ago. And CPU mining coins still exist, but they're not that popular. They're really not that popular. Maybe GPU coins or GPU, you know, coins and algorithms that are friendly to GPUs, maybe it will become a niche thing. Maybe that's, you know, the way that will go, but then all the major coins will be ASIC mining. It's hard to say what's going to happen, but it does look like that's the way the market's going.
And that's unfortunate because, you know, I've been around it a little bit, and when the market started, it was us against them, and now it's us against two different thems.
Yeah.
You know, first it was the devaluation of, you know, our daily currency that we used to buy, you know, milk and bread, and now we're fighting large corporations and their ability to kick out a new piece of hardware. So it's kind of a hard it's a hard day in the crypto world, but I think that, you know, it's not over yet. I think we just stick around and see what's going on. Maybe something new and different will come out. And, you know, maybe NVIDIA will see the light and say, hey, you know, all these guys really want some cards. Hey, let's make something that does it just for them. And they've done a couple of them, you know, the FPGAs and stuff like that with no video outputs, and it was just using the, you know, the GPI engine to run stuff, and that's fine. You know, GPU mining is great, but there's a lot of competition, and I don't know. It's kind of muddy waters right now, I think.
I mean, I always wondered that why they didn't push their mining card only thing, but they released some mining cards and they all had like 3-month warranties, which, I mean, I guess I can understand if they were getting a lot of returns, but I don't know.
Well, I'd have to say that, you know, take the money invested into a particular and I haven't done the numbers, but, you know, maybe somebody out there with a little time to kill and a tab to spare, you know, maybe it'll crunch them for us. But, you know, taking the cost of an FPGA and its output and then compare that to, you know, let's just go nuts. Let's call it a 1080 Ti, you know, which is pretty much the current available high end. Take that cost and how much it kicks out, you know, per coin spent. And then you look at an ASIC. I mean, these guys are kicking out hundreds of hashes a second. And yeah, you can get one box that'll replace, you know, 20 of your cards. But how long will it last? One guarantees that our graphics cards will always be able to adapt to a new currency or you know, a new hash or what all.
Well, that's the thing. And I mean, to play devil's advocate, let's consider a scenario where graphics cards become useful again. One of the, you know, GPUs versus ASICs, we'll forget about FPGAs just now, but against ASICs, the main thing that they're doing right now is certainly with the Equihash algorithms, is changing the N and K parameters so that it requires more RAM. So perhaps these new cards, it's a battle of the, you know, a battle of memory, where these new cards say, you know, they've got, what do these cards have again? I'll double check that just now. I think it's like 8 gig, 11 gig, 4, is that? I'll double check that just before I say something wrong. But perhaps
I was thinking it was 32 gigabit, 16 to 32, something like that.
I think that was per second. I think what they've got is 8 gigabytes for the 2070, and 8 gigabytes for the 2080, and I think it's 11 again for the 2080 Ti. But it's the speeds, 14 gigabytes per second, seems to be the same across the board. But perhaps that's the only way they can tackle ASIC miners right now, is to increase the RAM requirement. Now this makes it a little bit different for FPGAs because, you know, they're designed differently. ASICs are a little bit more kind of bargain basement, the way that they're designed. But if there is a desire for them to mine a particular algorithm, they will design the ASIC for it, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's, you know, in most of our cases, I don't know about everybody. I don't speak for all of us, of course, but you know, Ethereum was a lot of the GPU's interest, and then they come out with an ASIC. Well, what did Ethereum do? And so it kind of lost a little love, and so guys have jumped over to other stuff as well. And you know, I think that right now it's just really muddy.
Yeah,
I'd say,
agree with that.
you know, if you're a miner and you want to, you know, what can I buy? I'm going to save up and get this new 2080. I'm not sure that's a smart move. By the time it comes out, you know, you've got to look at what the cryptocurrency that you're going to mine is going to do in relation to that. The difficulty is going to go up. You know, China's going to kick out another box that'll blow it away, and then it's going to have to adapt again. And how long is the money that you're going to spend today, tomorrow, next week, whenever, you know, whenever, how long will that money be viable? It's not about, yeah, you might be able to make a little bit of money in between, but will it be viable long enough for you to get it back? So if you're a casual gamer and you go, you know, you sleep 8 hours like you should, then by all means, fire it up and, you know, let it eat. But, you know, should you dedicate, you know, build a GPU mine right now at the current prices and, you know, your competition? I don't know. I mean, I'm spending money and I kind of cringe when I do it sometimes. But, you know, I'm holding out for the one GPU, one vote.
But you made a good point there where you're talking about the algorithm, because, you know, there's no guarantee. Like if you buy some cards, you know, like say for example you want to support a particular project and it's a GPU algorithm and it's ASIC resistant and all that, nice hash resistant and all that other stuff. What happens, you know, you buy new GPUs or you buy a couple of used GPUs to support the project because you want to get involved, you want to mine. But what happens 6 months down the line when there's an ASIC miner released and your coin doesn't fork? You know what I mean? Now you're sitting there with egg in your face. And this is why I think a lot of people got pissed off this year when certain coins didn't fork. But we were talking about it a little bit earlier on today, about an hour or so ago, in the SafeCoin Discord. And we were talking about, you know, the issue come up with centralization in ASIC mining. And the point I put across was that one of the main reasons that coins immediately says they would fork, and the reason why Monero forked and the reason why many Equihash coins forked, is because the vast majority of their community is GPU miners. But what happens in a year down the line if there's more people in the community who have ASICs and you still have GPUs, but, you know, 70% of people's like, well, I've got an ASIC miner, I'd rather use an ASIC miner. It makes sense for the project to go with the majority as far as support goes. Maybe a little bit of a different situation if you're an established coin and you're worrying more about investors and the price of the coin and the network security. But if you're in the first say, year of existence, you don't want to piss off the people that are supporting your project. And these are the things that are going to happen. You rush out and you could buy one of these new cards, or you could buy 2 used 1080 Ti's, and then in a few months' time, the coin that you like all of a sudden accepts ASICs. I don't want to be too doom and gloom about all this, but I think we'd have our head in the sand if we didn't realise this is going to change the way things are as far as GPU mining goes.
Well,
you need to learn to adapt.
I think that the carrot on the end. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
I think that the carrot that they held out for us was that, hey, you can spend more money than you really planned on to get 1 or 6 or 12 graphics cards or whatever.
Yeah.
But the good news is you can always sell it to a gamer when you're done.
Yeah.
And then the prices got jacked. And you know, then miners and, you know, casual gamers that were miners are like, I don't know, man, I like video games, but man, you know, $1,000 is kind of pricey, and I got to buy how many of them? And at this point, you know, they're going to keep kicking out more powerful gaming cards. And I think that the window for your resale ability of these cards are going to start to dwindle down. Now, I can also say that it ain't happened yet, because the new cards coming out are far more expensive than the current ones.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the other, you know, how can I put it into words? When you look at a cryptograph, you know how you can move the slider to the different positions in time, you know, and the whole thing moves, the bottom and the top. I think that the bottom, you know, the doom and gloom hasn't come yet, but I can smell it, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that we're still good. I don't feel comfortable in continuing to chase the rabbit of more power, more, you know, power usage, you know, more expectations of what I'll get back. And, you know, if, you know, SHTF happens, and can I still sell it to a kid that wants to play, you know, Mario Karts?
But
I think that window's starting to get really small.
But you make a very good point, because when you think about it, a year ago, if someone was buying a 1080 Ti, they don't want to mine, they just want to buy it for gaming. They could buy it knowing that in a year's time they could sell it to gamers and miners, so it's going to keep the price of the card high. But if miners don't take to this new card, or these new cards, then, well, all of a sudden miners aren't interested in it. So, you know, maybe in a year's time, a brand new £1,100 or dollar. Look at all these flies. £1,100 or $1,200 2080 Ti, second hand, maybe it's going to be $600 in a year, despite the fact it's still selling new at double the price. The thing, you know, one of the thing, I've got another YouTube channel, and I do some gaming and tech things on it. And you know, when I posted about the fact I was going to do cryptocurrency mining, I got all this, you're a traitor, a real gamer wouldn't do this. I'm like, I'm a console gamer, so what do you want me to do? But when you think about it, say even you're a passionate PC gamer and you love your PC game, you love your PC games, you love your strategy games and all that, for the price of one graphics card, and this is before you think about a monitor, a PC, a motherboard, you know, all these other components you have to buy, RAM, you know, hard drives, fans, all these other things, you need to buy a power supply for this graphics card. This graphics card doesn't work on its own to play games. You need to have all the rest of the equipment. So all of a sudden a $1,200 GPU means a $3,000 system or something like that. But for that money, what does it get you? Like in the UK, at £1,100, I could probably buy a Nintendo Switch, an Xbox One, a PS4 Pro, and still have enough left for a 40-inch TV. All for that one card that still requires, you know, the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM, the hard drive, the PSU. So from a gamer's bit, and you know, if I just think about this, forget, you know, take off my mining hat, put on my gaming hat, it's quite difficult to justify that amount of money. It really is. And even, you know, obviously I'm a YouTuber, I can do video editing with my graphics card here, my 1080 Ti. You know, do I really want to spend an extra £1,100 on this new GPU to get, you know, 40% gains? Not really. So
well,
it's a hard sell for everyone, I think.
There's two things. I'm sorry.
No, there you go.
Well, first, you said that, oh, in a year's time I'll sell it. I have a problem with that statement because, one, within a year's time there'll be a new graphics card, obviously these 2080s, and maybe another one as well. What games will be coming out that's all, new, shiny, and bright, and flashing lights that kids are going to want to talk their moms out of the money for, or, throw some more newspapers or whatever. How much money do you really want to spend? I mean, like, how much money do you have to spend to play a video game? I can give a kid, a handful of quarters. He can go play video games. I don't need to give the kid $1,000. And so I think that, it's a really niche market to begin with. We're talking about a niche market of high-end graphics cards that very few people actually buy. We all want them, but actually not very many video gamers buy them. And lately in the higher-end market, a lot of the crypto miners have bought them, which is, increased the price for those elite gamers.
Yep.
And now the elite gamers have a new option. Well, if the games cater to those, new cores and all of that, and they can actually utilize them and improve this rich kid's game that justifies, this $1,000, $1,200. Okay, great. In a year, will it be worth it to miners? I don't know. I really don't think so. What's a 970 Ti go for these days? It's been about a year, and so
no, I think it's been a few. I think it's been a few years since the 9 series. I think it's a few years because I think the first 10 series cards came out 2 years ago. I think. I could check that, but I think it was 2 years ago that they came out, and then they brought out like the 1070 Ti at the end of last year. But I think it is a hard sell.
They squeeze them out. Would they start with a 1070 or 1060 70, and then
I'll check that.
80, and then the TI came out. So it'd be interesting to know. But
I'll get the dates here. I've got them on Wikipedia. So see if I can see the release dates. Right. So in order, launch date.
And Norlis has a good point. Yeah, because of mining, online video gaming has pretty much whittled off, and it's all went to consoles, which I personally don't prefer. But I don't know, man. I think that the little carrot's getting small. We're not getting a lot of increase. We're not getting the ability to have that one GPU, one vote. There's a lot of competition, and I don't know. For the coins that I mine, I'd like to see them stand up and go, "Hey, no!" and throw up a finger and no, we're going to do this and flip. But that doesn't always happen. So I'm not really sure. Right now, it's pretty volatile, but at this point, I'd say don't spend $1,200 on a brand new card. Go buy a crypto and hold it till December. Let's see what happens, like it did last year.
The thing is as well, it's important to remember that right now the market is down, mining profits are down. They even talked, a lot of people were talking about switching off their rigs. But if we do enter a bull run, a lot of what we've been seeing today, it could be flipped on its head, and it's a very different situation if these older cards all of a sudden go from making 50 cents per day and now making $5 per day. It changes very quickly if the market changes. But again, these are all unknown factors, and you really shouldn't be making such a huge investment without realizing that might not happen. And we might not enter a bull run this year. It could be later next year. It could be 2020. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Sorry to be too doom and gloom, guys, Give me 2 seconds, man. It's just for I need to close this window because it's going to end up like a jungle in here if I don't get these moths out. Wait 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say like for right now, you know, and until things settle up a little bit, I wouldn't be putting in a whole lot of pre-orders, you know, for much of anything at this point. You know, we've got governments coming in wanting to tell us what to do and how to do it, and you know, and they're coming under the shroud of protecting us from, you know, the hoodlums. Well, you know, people that's got this kind of money to spend on building miners, you know, we're not exactly stupid neither. Some of us are, but and then they make a YouTube channel and rip us all apart. But yeah, I don't know. I think at this point, I'm just gonna sit. You know, I'm gonna sit for a minute, another month or two, and just decide what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop a little $20 here and there on one coin or another, and maybe 100 here and there, just something to put the things in. To never spend what you can't lose. And if you're spending $1,000+ on a graphics card because you think you can sell it a year from now and get your money back, I don't know. I think you might want to recrunch your numbers. But if you're video gaming and you've got money to blow and you like pretty stuff and you got a big 4K monitor, hey, go for it, man. Crunch it while you're sleeping. But I wouldn't go blowing mama's money to go buy a second one just for mining.
But that's a good point, because I think maybe, you know, if you look at like Bitcoin mining, for example, it's all farms in China because the competition is so strong that it's all ASIC miners that are mining it. But maybe that's the way that a lot of coins will go, where it makes more sense to simply buy the coins than it does to mine them. And maybe we'll get more people just buying directly from fiat and just buying the coins they want. Or maybe they'll try and buy enough coins for a masternode or something, or try and buy coins that are proof of stake, rather than investing in hardware that you need to maintain, you need to update, you need to configure, you need to spend a lot of time in, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get your return as well. It's all doom and gloom, but I think if you are a GPU miner and you believe in GPU mining, then maybe you'll be taking this as good news, because there's going to be a lot of used GPUs flooding the market, I think. Could be dependent on what the hash rates are, though. You know, if the hash rates come out and these new cards, you know, if these new cards are, you know, 30, 40, 50% more expensive, but the returns are only, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20% more as far as hash rates go, then, you know, what Norris was saying later, you know, the 10 series cards could still be held in high regard. You know, if these cards can't justify the price increase from a mining point of view. Obviously, gamers are different. Gamers are looking at, you know, all the different features for gaming, but from a mining point of view, you know, because you can still buy 10 series cards brand new and get the full warranty as well. You don't have to buy used. And NVIDIA will have to reduce the cost of their retail 10 series cards if they want to sell retail 20 series cards. So they're going to have to drop the retail cards of the 10 series, which pushes down the prices of the used cards. So it's a good time to buy some used GPUs, I think, but still no guarantee you're going to break even on those either. Absolutely no guarantee at this point either.
Well, I think that buying mining hardware is absolutely no different whatsoever than buying a crypto coin. Don't spend a dime you can't afford to lose.
Yep.
The worst case scenario, you go buy a used card, a brand new card, and it blows up. And your warranty expired last week. Worst case scenario, you got what you got. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Don't say that. I bought a used car recently. Don't say that.
I hear you there. But at the same time, you know, you do the same thing in the ASIC world. You know, you buy a Z9 or whatever their new letters and numbers are this week.
Yeah.
And, you know, next week the currency that it was designed to mine flips.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of that. I just watched, I don't really want to bring up, you know, other YouTube channels, but
don't worry about that. I've got absolutely no problem with you bringing up other YouTubers, especially if they're good. Feel free to even share the link in the or message me. I can share the profile.
Well,
I don't look at fellow crypto YouTubers as rivals or anything like that. You know, as far as unless they're shells, then they're a-holes. You know, if they're shelling
I appreciate
terrible projects.
That.
But
yeah,
if it's a good YouTuber,
I really
I want to support guys like that. You know, if they're helping cryptocurrency.
And I appreciate that. I really do. It shows an open mind, you know, and non-competition. Vosk Coin is.
Oh yeah. I like Vosk. He comes across as a nice guy.
He put out one, I think, this morning, yesterday, something like that, about, you know, he had just got this new great big monster, and it looks like a 5U server, and liquid cooled and the whole 9 yard, and this thing's supposed to kick out 40 terahash. You know,
is that the ASIC miner.co miners? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
I'll link to the video in the comment area. I'll link to that one, just so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and he said that, you know, he didn't spend, it was loaned to him or something like that. Yep. But look it up, and this thing's somewhere, I don't remember, it's somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000. I think it was $2,500 because it was the smaller one of the two.
Yeah, and I've looked at those before, just on, you know, the browser.
Yeah, but his end day was something like $5 a day. I mean, the thing's $2,500.
Yeah.
$5 a day times 365. You're just over half in a year.
So what one was that? Sorry, that was which one was it? 8 nano, did he say?
Yeah, 8 nano. So
there it's there, 8 nano. So daily revenue, $12.75. Power consumption, 2,100 watts.
Yeah, 2,100 watts. But when he did his video, he showed what he was actually crunching, because, you know, their advertisement's going to tell you, oh yeah, it's worth this. Well, that was when they made that post. But he just did this like today, yesterday, something like that, and he says, you know, this thing's making like $550 a day or something.
I don't know if it's
not going to get your money back anytime soon.
Yeah, there it's there. So that's a very good point. You've got ASIC miner 8 nano compact, 40 terahashes per second, 2,300 watts is classified as, 47 decibels, so it's quite quiet, I guess, and for an ASIC. SHA-256, $4.08 per day, it says. Now, I don't know, obviously that doesn't take into account overclocking and anything like that, but yeah, that's... Like,
well, actually, I do know that Vosk underclocks for power efficiency, because he pays pretty expensive. I think he's somewhere in like a 12 cents a kilowatt hour or something. So I know he downclocks them, but he was really aggravated. He left it on, you know, standard. But I mean, the two big takeaways from it was, well, the thing only made like $5 and something a day, and it was a fully centralized login unit that didn't allow him, you know, direct access like the Bitcoin, you know, L9, you know, things like that.
Do you have to use the software? Is that what it is?
No, you have to log into their website to control your miner. You can't log into your miner directly.
That's bullshit. That's
exactly.
I don't know if you can see the website of the video, you know, the live stream right now. I've got the website up. It says $12.76, but I'm more inclined to believe what's here on ASIC miner value, and that's $4 per day. But looking at that, 2,300 watts or 2,100 watts, $4,500. $4,500 for $4 a day.
That's what I was getting at. It's like, so that's our competition. So the competition isn't really, you know, legit.
That's assuming electricity cost of 14. For me in the UK, it'd be 18 cents. So if I adjust that, for me, it's now under $3 per day. It's now at $2.89 per day. That's insane. I'll need to check out that video. That's interesting. I'll need to check that one out from Vosk.
And at $4,500 USD, that puts it at what, something like $5,300 pound for you?
45, and I can bring that up. You know, I was going to just make up a number. I'd be guessing.
Yeah, roughly. It's crazy. Is the point?
Yeah, it's very expensive. Definitely very expensive. Like over $3,000. Yeah, $3.5 grand. 3,500. That's a lot of money. A huge amount of money. I can't see why anyone would buy that. I really can't. Why wouldn't you just put the money into nodes? Like, you could just buy lots of Zencash nodes, or you could buy any master node, or you could just buy lots of coins that you like. Just stick it in Bitcoin. Buy $4,500
Yeah, and I think that's
worth of
pretty much
Bitcoin.
the way to go at this point. Because of all the hardware involved, the only two real, you know, profitable options in my personal point of view is buy the coin and hope for December like last year, which, you know, it probably will happen and the hype will come. But buy the coin and hope for the best, or just I wouldn't get an ASIC, and I really wouldn't. I'm not buying anything right now. If anything, I'm just gonna buy the coin and hope, you know, the hype continues, because I think it's a good idea. You know, I don't want someone else telling me how much a loaf of bread cost. You know, somebody said it, and I'll repeat it till I'm blue in the face. Is take a $20 bill 20 years ago, go to the grocery store, and walk out with a cart full of groceries. Today, walk in with a $20 bill and walk out with 4 or 5 items. 20 years from now, walk in with a $20 bill and walk out with a Snickers. So I don't like my money being my currency being devalued by what someone else values that particular currency at. I'd kind of like to have the same amount of worth that I had in the beginning. I don't really require more. I just don't want it messed with by somebody else taking pieces of it. And so that's why I got involved in crypto mining. And right now, I don't know, it's kind of messy, and there's a couple of projects out there that, you know, seem to be worthwhile investments, that seem to be doing the right things for the right reasons, but hey, they've come and gone as well. You know, I had a lot of trust in Ethereum. They got me all they got me stepping back, thinking twice. XMR, not bad, up and down. I don't know. Bitcoin, been in, staying in. I believe in the project, and so I'm not going anywhere. But is it financially advantageous for me to continue throwing my hard-earned money at a project that has so much competition? I'm not confident. I'm not giving up. I'm just not confident right now. So I'm going to sit back, watch, and let the waves settle a little bit and see what happens. But at the same time, on the other side of the coin, early adopters, you know, win the yacht. So I don't know. You know, most of this was all about the new 2000 series GPUs coming in, and I'm not sold on it.
Well, to go back to the ASIC mining you were talking about there, that's ridiculous what they're charging. It's one of those things, it's almost annoying because people keep bringing up the issue of centralization, and Bitmain are the only, you know, main sellers of ASIC miners. And these other companies that come out with ASIC miners, and they're always like 2-3 times as expensive, and the returns are never as good, and they're always like thousands of watts. Like, why would you buy that? Like, I can't see, why would you spend $4,500 on that? It doesn't make any sense. I would rather buy the new GPUs than that. You know, at least they've got resale value, and at least they're versatile.
Yeah, I mean,
do lots of different algorithms.
You may not get your $800 back on your graphics card, but you know, you might get $400 because, you know, some kid likes Battlefield or Call of Duty or Mario Karts or whatever.
Not just
you know,
just from a resale point of view.
But one thing is a fact: if you bought an S1 Antminer and you wanted to sell it today, you might as well hold your paperwork down from the wind blowing it away.
Yeah, you can actually.
But how much did they cost?
You can see that, like, if I've put my electricity costs on ASIC Miner Value, which is a really good website, and you scroll down, and there's one there, released August 2018, and it only makes 10 cents per day, and you know, and then there's other ones, June 2018 from Baikal, and basically it's only profitable if you live in a region where the electricity is super low. Because for me, I'm actually losing money. There's another one. You know, I lose 12 cents per day. It's only out 2 months. It's crazy. These brand new ASIC miners, and I'm, you know, for me in the UK, I'd actually be losing money. Not to mention the initial investment that I'd be losing as well. And then you can't sell it because the things don't actually generate profit. It's bizarre. I mean, look at the bottom here. There's another one, the ASIC miner 48 THR. This is from the same company that you were talking about there. Released in May, and it loses $21 per day. Loses $21 per day.
Yeah, so that
obviously there's changes and prices changes.
Yeah, and just to bring it back to, you know, a comment you had mentioned earlier is, well, from a year now I can sell it. Well, the one thing you can do a year from now is sell your GPU. The one thing you're probably not going to be able to do a year from now is to sell your ASIC.
Yeah. Well, because no one sells an ASIC unless it's not making money. That's the reality of it. There's absolutely no reason to buy an ASIC unless it's, you know, unless you're reselling it. I see these people on Amazon selling, you know, ASIC miners are twice the price of what you can buy them on Bitmain itself, and I don't know why people buy them from Amazon, but they do. So there's obviously a market for that there. But
well,
yeah, there's no resale value.
Bitmain played a game a while back, and they said that if you wanted to buy one from us, you had to buy 40 or whatever the number was. Is like you couldn't buy. I think it was sometime this early last year, or early this year, I think maybe, is you couldn't buy one anymore. Now you had to buy like a bunch of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, now you're not spending $1,000, $1,200. Now you're spending $12,000, you know, because you got to buy 10 of them.
Well, this is the thing, you know, we talk about the main website, but probably their biggest customers aren't even, you know, they're not even using the main website. They're using private channels where they're just speaking to them and saying, here, there's $1 million, send us over, you know, a crap load of ASIC miners, you know, directly in China or Russia or somewhere else like that. It's an interesting subject. I mean, a lot of this live stream has been a lot of doom and gloom. But to kind of bring it back to GPUs, yeah, it's for the prices these things are going to, it's going to change things. I do think it's going to change things as far as the GPU mining market goes, and maybe we're going to see, maybe we will see people selling. Maybe we will see people moving away from GPU coins. Maybe GPU coins will be less popular because of all this. Maybe, you know, if as I said, a lot of people coming into crypto now, rather than buy, you know, a GPU to mine, why wouldn't you just buy an ASIC miner? And in a year from now, GPU miners could be the minority. Could be more people with ASIC miners than there are with GPU miners, at least in the cryptocurrency community. It's
well, I think we can look at the difficulty level and the hash rate, you know, of pretty much any of the top 20, 30 coins and get that answer.
I think, well, Monero is still GPU only, and Ethereum for the time
I think
being.
it was Monero. Yeah, when they came out with, maybe it was the Z9. I don't remember. It is one of them. When they first came out with the XMR miner, they were selling a $2,000, $2,500 USD, something like that.
Yeah.
And then XMR, you know, Monero, sorry, you know, split off within a month or something.
Yeah, it was.
But
quite,
there's
I mean,
still the original. So it's like, what coin do you support? Because Ethereum can still be run on ASIC miners.
But
Bitcoin,
did you see how those
pretty much
forks have
solely
done?
on ASIC miners at this point.
But have you seen how those forks have done? I saw an article the other day, and it showed you that, you know, there was a few forks. There was Monero Classic, Monero Original, Monero something else. I can't remember what it was now. But there was like 3 or 4 different forks, and they've all tanked all the way down to like $1 or so. And Monero is obviously still the legit coin. So there's a reason why those ant miners went down in price. The original, I'll bring up Bitmain just now to see what the Kryptonite miner costs now. So Kryptonite,
yeah, but it doesn't mine the new Kryptonite 7. It still mines the original Kryptonite.
Yeah, it mines the original one, not X7. Yeah. So I mean, Bitmain have did things like this in the past as well. What was the one? There was one of the miners. Was it the S9 where they released it at a certain price point and then they went, no, no, that's too cheap, and then they bumped the price up. They actually increased.
I think it actually was the S9 because it was something like 1,800, and then they cracked it to almost 3 or something like that.
Yeah, they basically looked at but this is the thing. The only people that know how much profit these things can make is Bitmain, because they can look at all the coins in the market. They can look at, you know, the block reward and the, you know, the total number of coins being offered on a daily basis. They know, you know, even just looking at it from a fiat point of view, this coin produces $10,000 of value every day. This coin produces that amount, and then they know, well, we've shipped 200,000 of these, so these people are only going to make $3 per day, and they know that, but they're not going to tell anyone that. They're not going to tell anyone, you know, that they've sold them a brick. You know, that's not going to happen. But you know, people still keep taking the risk because you have things like the Z9 Mini, which has actually turned out to be quite profitable as far as the initial investment, and because it can be overclocked. And this gives people confidence that they will buy again. I don't know, the whole thing is bizarre. Really, it's quite funny. Like the way the whole market is going right now, it's uncertainty, and this is why people like myself and people like you are perhaps sitting on the fence right now before we commit any money to any new hardware, because it isn't clear what way the market is going to go. Yeah, Richard makes a good point. That Bitmain used the ASICs for months before they released them.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I'm going to go into anyhow.
Yeah.
I live right outside of Niagara Falls, so the going rate in my area is 5 cents per kilowatt hour. I think that the USD standard is somewhere between 10 and 12, somewhere in there. Yeah, so it's 14. Unusually cheap. Yep. In my unique situation, I don't pay for power. It's limited in what I can have piped in, but it's still at no cost. But
that's pretty good.
Even then, that is correct, Norlis. It's 5 cents a kilowatt hour here outside of Niagara Falls in the U.S. side of the border. But it's just, even at that, even when I have no cost in my current situation of mining, even at that, it's not worth it for me to go buy an ASIC, because I can't get it back in a timely period before the difficulty raises to where it makes my hardware unprofitable, and I never get my ROI. Yeah. And so I look at GPUs, which is how I initially got involved. Oh, okay, let's grab some ATIs. Let's grab some 580s. Let's grab some 1080s. We're off to the races, and it was great. But you know, that party, you know, checked out here about spring, somewhere in there, and now it's like, well, I'm not shutting them off, but you know, if they start sending me an electric bill, I'm not. I might.
It's a different story. Yeah. I mean, you're obviously in a very lucky position from a mining point of view as to what you're paying. You know, people in the UK tend to pay about 3 to 4 times what you're paying. And electricity costs. This is the thing, when you're in a bull run and everyone's making a lot of money, you know what? You know, going back at the start of the year, I wasn't worrying too much about electricity because, you know, it wasn't a big factor really. But you know, when I looked at my profits, electricity costs were, you know, a small percentage of that. But when your daily profits start going down and down and down, all of a sudden you start thinking, right, how do I make my cards more efficient? How do I use less electricity? Because you're burning a lot of your profits on, you know, just powering the things. But it's an interesting discussion, you know, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes out over the next few weeks as far as hash rates, as far as what people, you know, I don't know if any of these, you know, any major website can get their hands on, you know, a 2080 Ti or something like that, get their hands on it a little bit early and do some tests as far as mining goes. Be interesting to see how it performs. But
I think that the interesting statistic would be, you know, and we'll probably never know the answer, but if any of you guys want to, you know, snap your fingers and stretch your hands and knuckles and want to go do some Google foo, then I'd be interested in knowing how much NVIDIA made last year and how much Antmain made last year. Well, we're never going to find out what Antmain made, but that's the competition against GPU, because you have to pick the most, you know, profitable, most powerful GPU manufacturer out there. All right, so the argument is ATI or, you know, NVIDIA. Whoever answer you come up with, how many S9s have been sold? So like, we can't GPU mine, hell, we can't even CPU mine, you know, Bitcoin anymore. We had to go to, you know, altcoins. And so, well, now they're making ASIC miners for altcoins too.
Yeah.
There goes the neighborhood. Well, now what do we do? Okay, let's go to an altcoin. Let's go to a breakout coin. Let's go to a forked coin. Let me just stick with, you know, the coin that I chose, that I just got lucky, and they're forking away from ASICs. And all right, you're in a position that not very many of us are in. You know, if you got that lucky, then go buy a lottery, or don't buy a lottery ticket. Just keep going, do what you're doing. But I don't know. I think that there's a lot of big money coming into this game.
Yeah.
And will two graphics card companies, the head of, you know, graphics as far as that goes, are they willing to compete with dedicated, you know, specifically built hardware? I don't know. They're going to have to break out and start kicking out their own ASIC miners. And until NVIDIA or API or some large company does, I don't know. I'm out.
Why don't they though? This is the thing. Why don't NVIDIA, you know, go under a different company name, keep NVIDIA for gaming, and come out with purpose-built FPGAs or ASIC miners, or, you know, GPU miners that are very effective? It makes you wonder why they don't, because they're a huge company and there's a lot of money to be made. They know there's a lot of money to be made. I don't know if maybe they don't want to detract from their main business, their core business, but yeah, I don't know.
Here's an interesting thought. Now, I have no evidence whatsoever. This is just a funny, okay? It's a funny. Don't slam his video for me, okay? It's just a funny. What if NVIDIA owned Antmain?
Oh, they own Bitmain and just...
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, if it was that simple, well, there's the answer to the question you just asked. Now, I have no idea. I'm just, like I said, it was a funny. But you don't piss where you sleep, right?
Well, I mean...
So they get their memory from the same companies that ASICs gets their cards full of memory. Everybody's pretty much all sleeping in the same house. They might be on a different floor or in a different room, but all these companies work together to get the main, you know, hardware itself on chips, memories, things like that. Where do they get their boards printed? A lot of it isn't done here in the States. But where is all the money at? It's right where the ASIC miners are built. So I'm a bit concerned.
I mean, I think if you're in NVIDIA's position, if you don't want to design a whole new wing, you know, for designing these kind of things, you might find that NVIDIA have an investment wing or some sort of department where they do investments with their money, and maybe they'll invest in the Bitmain IPO. It wouldn't surprise me if they did do that. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, especially, you know, some other large companies as well. They might invest in the Bitmain IPO.
Well, and Fred. Now I don't know him, and I have no idea where he come up with this. His quote is: "Bitmain reportedly made between $3 and $4 billion in operating profits in 2017. NVIDIA, founded 24 years ago, made about $3 billion during that same period." So, is NVIDIA, who caters to kids, you know, and I would just casually say that, you know, a large majority, at least a significant majority, are using their parents' money to buy their video cards with. Is that company capable of taking on some, you know, a large entity like Bitmain? Well, According to Fred here, 2017 showed otherwise.
I think obviously NVIDIA isn't just, you know, the GPUs. It's not just for kids. It's obviously for video editors and for other people. But they also do GPUs for laptops and for tablets and for other things as well.
Okay.
So they do have. They've got a few
got
different
their
wings.
niche. They're not going. Hey, they're not going back to the McDonald's drive-through. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's a fair point though. Bitmain, or as video game Polak is saying, Batminer. As far as that goes, yeah, you know, Bitmain are a huge company, massive company. I did a video recently talking about their IPO. There's a lot of people speculating that because they exchanged a lot of their BTC for BCH, for Bitcoin Cash. This is one of the reasons why they're going to do an IPO. But it's a mega company. I mean, I've read a lot of news though.
Yeah,
as big as Bitmain is.
Last ditch effort.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, they're obviously making a lot of money, but I do think that maybe another reason they're doing it is because apparently there's companies like Samsung and IBM or Lenovo. There's all these other companies exploring it as well, as far as releasing mining products. And Samsung is a behemoth, absolute huge company. Samsung, I think, still do the panels, and they still do quite a lot of the main chips for Apple phones and things like that. They're just an absolute massive company. And the fact that they would get involved, well, that could be a game changer as well. Hi, Jet.
Yeah, I think if we
Fred,
get... I think if Japan came in, Samsung...
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean...
So,
it's one of those, you know, from our point of view, though, we're all ants. We're all ants compared to those guys.
Yeah.
You okay, Marius? We're losing you a little bit there. I'm losing you a little bit. I don't know if it's... You okay there? I can't hear you now. You're kind of breaking up.
Like, why?
Are you guys hearing that too as well? You're kind of breaking up. I don't know. Hold on. I'll see. I don't think it's anything my end. Your microphone is switching on and off a lot. I'll tag him. I don't think he knows that it's happening. I assume you guys can hear that as well, because you guys are, yeah, you guys are hearing what I hear. Ground control to Major Tom. Indeed, see ya. Indeed. I don't know if he's maybe just having a connection problem there. But hopefully we'll get him back. So a lot of interesting discussions so far. As far as, you know, as far as these new GPUs. I hadn't read about that ASIC miner. I didn't know that Voska did a video about that ASIC miner 8 nano. That's ridiculous. I don't see why anyone would buy that. I assume he's been sent it, you know, free of charge or something, or for testing or for review. But I think we got him back. I think we got you back.
Good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yep. Yeah, I think we've got you.
I was coming off of Wi-Fi into landline.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, someone was saying my audio wasn't loud enough. I'll change that just now. I'll put the gain up. Okay, testing. You'll probably hear more of my GPUs in the background, though. That's the risk. Audio going south. Sorry, no need to apologise. I'm going to turn that down, actually. You'll hear too much background noise. This is a problem because... Oh, is my internet going down now? Come on.
You seem fine.
I think my internet was going down there. It's coming up red now. Oh, great. Now everyone's internet's going down. What's going on? What's going on here? What is going on? Alright, we're back on. I think my internet was going down there. Yeah, I mean, as far as my audio, guys, if I turn my audio up too loud, you'll probably hear... You'll hear that more. You'll hear my audio in the background more.
Crystal clear. Crystal clear.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of unknowns, but we're going to see a lot of people talking about this over the next few weeks. This is, you know, until we see hash rates coming out, until we see hash rates being published as far as what's reliable data as to, you know, how these things perform. Yeah, Richard, it was saying that my internet connection was stopping there. I don't know why. It could be a YouTube thing as well. Not sure what was going on there. Any of you guys have any questions for Marsyus? Has been great so far, talking about a lot of different topics, but if you've got any direct questions for him, please do post them. You're like my co-host today.
Well, I feel kind of special. I feel like I should go put on a nice snazzy shirt or something.
God, I didn't even do that. I'm sitting in a Pepsi t-shirt. I didn't even put on a shirt. Oh, I'd say this isn't relevant, but I just got... Okay, guys, this is nothing to do with cryptocurrency, but I'm sure some of you guys will find this interesting. Due to a new agreement between WhatsApp and Google, WhatsApp backups will no longer count against Google Drive storage quota. However, any WhatsApp will not be able to... Oh, right, that's a good thing. I thought they were saying they were removing that. I thought it was a disagreement. Right, so WhatsApp backups aren't going to count against your Google Drive quota. That's a good thing. I thought they were saying they were going to pull it and they were going to fall out. Google, you know, Facebook and Amazon and Google have always been fighting about different things. Fire away, Daya, if you've got any questions.
Yeah, Daya, is that the proper pronunciation? I'm curious. I don't. I do not think I'm a guru, but I'm not stupid. But I'm not the best. That's for sure.
You are today. Guru for hire. We need a miner for Turing first. Jet was asking, how can I mine Ethereum Classic? Ethereum Classic, same way as Ethereum, it's 8 hash. So, if you know how to mine Ethereum, you know how to mine Ethereum Classic. What do you mean? What do you need? I assume you need a GPU or you need an 8 hash ASIC miner. DE.
That's not completely true. It's close. For the most optimal experience, yes, you would want to point a GPU at it, but I do know that you can crunch Ethereum on CPU. It's just completely a waste of electricity.
Yeah.
You're just burning electrons for nothing.
The thing is, even depending on your electricity costs, even Ethereum even GPUs might not be profitable right now. Hi, Rogic. Fared up. Anyone know 2080 and Ti Ethereum hash rate? At this point further, it's just speculation. We've been looking at the specifications, and this is what me and Marsyus have been discussing as far as specs go. You know, it's just a lot of speculation at this point. You can look at the CUDA cores and, you know, compare it to a 1080 Ti and how, you know, what the specs are there. But we're doing a lot of guessing here, aren't we? Here's the thing, I found this website. Mine with a Pentium 2 CPU.
No,
yeah, maybe that's the way forward.
Way faster.
Yeah.
And you got to do it with a single core, so the whole thing is all dedicated to one branch.
Yeah. It's
Okay, I don't want anybody that actually hears this to take our advice. So, okay, don't do that.
I know you don't know if anyone's, you know, they realize when you're being sarcastic and things.
Yeah, different countries have a different sense of humor, so I don't want anybody to think we're serious.
Yeah, yeah, that's something that you need to kind of take into account. Sometimes, you know, everyone's got a different sense of humor. You see that in Discord a lot as well, because context can be misinterpreted, because if you don't put enough smiley faces, someone thinks you're angry. Right, Daya's talking about, so Daya's talking about this website, Ruben, this mining website. It's like a comparison. I don't know what that's a comparison of though. Nice. Alright, so this is a nice hash calculator by the looks of it. An 8 hash nice hash calculator. Is that what I'm looking at here? I've got no idea.
Hey, Tom, he's gonna hit his calculator from '84. I started in computers in 1986, so I don't remember the model, but I'm pretty sure it had the red lights.
Yeah, I've still got. Do I still have it here? I've still got a calculator about here actually, somewhere. I've got a calculator about here somewhere.
I would love to find like an old Casio with an old red display. I'd keep it, put it on a shelf.
No, the one I don't have is the red display. I've got an old style calculator somewhere. I've got amongst my old video games. I've got it somewhere. I think it's the one I did at university. I did mathematics at university, so I had to buy a scientific thing.
What? Hold on, Litecoin at 53. Whoa,
some good deals on 1080.
I'm gonna go look now. How'd it go from like $11-12 to 53? I'm calling that out. I'm jumping over to Crypto Watch. Give me a minute.
I'll put it on the page here. Litecoin $54.45. But then look at Ethereum, 277.
No kidding.
Monero is sub $100. Ethereum Classic. Binance Coin is down under $10 now, which I guess isn't.
Oh, I just pulled the grass. Everything's in the red, so
yeah, and that's the thing.
No love in anything right now. It looks like.
Yeah, so apart from Dogecoin, everyone loves Dogecoin. Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, I'll price it in Bitcoin and see if anything's going against the grain. Right, Tezos has went up 13%. Veritasium, don't know what that is. Tether, True US dollars. Monero
yeah,
went
in
up 0.1%.
volume, I'm seeing red all the way down the board. All except Binance, but that's not a crypto. That's house money.
Yeah, it's the
Bittrex,
thing.
another Litecoin to Litecoin to Ethereum. That don't count. Yeah, it's grim days right now, but I'm not shutting them off yet. But I'm not buying anything new either. Yeah, dumped over 8.5% in Ethereum right now.
Yeah, I was saying 6.59 on CoinMarketCap I've got here, but it's been going down. Ethereum is, I mean, it's a safe bet though, I think. I'm trying. Dia's saying here, sort of coins based on nice hash profitability. Right, so I think he's talking about that calculator, EtherGem, Bitcoin with 2 eyes. Don't know why it's named like that. So was this mining? So what is this? Can you explain, Dia? Is this simply a calculator that shows you nice hash profits if you mine these coins via nice hash? What's going on here?
Yeah, let me. Well, I can't drop a link.
You can say if you send me a link on Discord, I'll post it. I can share it in the comment area.
Oh, I think I shut it off, but let me see if I can hash out a. Let me see if I can play.
How? Yeah, there's no one worked out the hash rate of a 2080 Ti yet. It's all speculation at this point because we don't know how it's going to, how it's going to be in different algorithms. We're just taking guesses based on the CUDA cores and all that. Okay, Dia. So yeah, it's about nice hash profit. What was the reason you brought it up for? What was it? Was a coin you wanted to talk about, or was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or is this your website and it's a sneaky way of saying check out my website?
No.
Alexei Rubin.
Oh, no, I was just talking about cryptowatch.ch. It's website.
Sorry, Marsyus. I think you got confused. I was talking about Dia there. I was talking about Dia, not yourself. Dia suggested a website. I was just wanting to know why. So Dia, why did you want me to see? Why did you want me to show this website?
It might be local in his place. I don't recognize the lingo up in the main domain name, so I assume maybe it's, and I'm giving him, you know, benefit of the doubt, possibly just something local in his, you know, language area.
What was the website you were going to talk about, Marsyus? Was it?
I put it up there. It's cryptowatch.ch. You just split the watch part.
Cryptowatch.cs.
It's cryptowatt.ch. So it's Crypto Watch. You just put a dot between the T and C.
Ah, right. Okay. Right.
That's just one of the that's one of the main websites I go to that, you know. Yeah, Fred's got it there. Yeah, there you go. So, I'd say, you know, at this point, you know, the way it is, buy it. I wouldn't sell it. Don't sell it. And I wouldn't exactly, you know, suggest you sit on your laurels and do nothing either. I'd say that pick a currency that you're happy with, that you believe in, that you think is going in the right direction. Drop them a couple of bucks that you'd spend on what, you know, a soda or a sandwich or, you know, something stupid. Drop it in some coin. You know, what's it going to hurt? You were going to blow it anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows? You might get something back. And I think you will.
I've never seen this website before. It looks quite good. So the markets is the exchanges.
I've used it for well over a year. You know, so I don't mind it. I don't even think I have a login to it. It's just great for, you know, going to the different coins and see what's going on. It shows you the different.
It's quite good for exchanges as well.
For
exchanges as well, it's quite good. It shows you the main trading pairs.
Yeah, exactly. You can check whatever you want. There's a couple of them that I go to. That's one of my mains right there.
I think CoinLib is getting quite popular as well, isn't it?
Oh, there's a couple of good ones for sure. Let's see, where all do I go here? I got Hit BTC, GDEX, you know, they're not so much. Let's see, tradingview.com is a great place.
Yeah, that's the one with all the Bitcoin graphs that everyone uses.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's what, you know, people always recommend me that as well to check out. And it's got the swingometer that says buy or sell. Bitcoin, US dollars, load up. It's saying, what's it saying right now? Strong sell. I think that's kind of pointless, that thing.
I'm not selling anything. You know, I threw it in because I believed in it, and I ain't lost my belief. So, and I see the FUD and everything else, and the oh my gods, you know, come here and there, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to hang out. I sat here and watched, you know, what was it? Bitcoin went from $300 to $600, something like that, to almost 20,000, 19,989 or whatever it was in USD. And I'm like, wee, we're going to Red Lobster. You know?
And then there was the crash.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that, all right, well, everybody's spending their Christmas money, and that's probably going to be gone here pretty quick because the kids are going to, like, stop playing with their toys. So give it about a month, and it's probably going to fall again. So I'm like, I got in early, got out at the right time, and now I'm slowly starting to trickle back in because I think we pretty much hit, you know, our bottom as far as that goes with the main coins. So I'm all right.
I mean, it's quite interesting. This shows you
ins and outs, you know.
This shows you that the price was at this price. Bitcoin was at this price like last November, and then in February, April, July. It shows you all the different times it's been at the same price. Quite handy that. Yeah, I remember what you're saying. See, as far as the news, when the price started dropping. They were talking about the Chinese New Year as well. They were talking about people filling their taxis. You know, when it comes to those things, a lot of it is just speculation, I think, as well. People reading between the lines and making assumptions for things that aren't actually there.
Well, it just add in the one more factor that people got a surplus of money and they'd like to have a little more back. And so they're willing to throw a little bit of money that they're willing to lose at it. And that's about the time it happened. And I don't know. I think it'll probably happen again. But, you know, will it be as big as last time? Well, we got two choices. It's either going to be nothing or it's going to blow the doors off of it. And
well, I'm hoping the latter.
I think we're all good. I think we're fine. You know, if you drop $50 now, you'll have 100, 150 come December. You drop 1,000, you know, that's what I think. I don't know. Nobody knows. But I'm not going to buy new 2080, you know, to go get it done. I'd rather spend that, you know, and drop it, because that's what had happened before. When I got started, this stuff was like $8.
Yeah.
It's 6,316 according to his numbers.
It's a very different story today.
Holy smokes.
Very different story today.
Yeah, and so it's like, what do you believe in? If you believe in making money, go start your own business. If you want to just believe in the government not telling us what to do anymore, buy a couple of cryptos. You want to look out for your family? Buy a fridge full of groceries. Everybody's got their choices, but if you got, you know, the extra, and you're just going to blow it on a 12-pack of beer or, you know, some fancy, stupid cigarette lighter for your car or something queer, hey, you know, drop 10, 20 bucks on some crypto. What's it going to hurt? You are going to have that money anyway come Friday, so why not? Who knows? You support something cool, and you might make out like a bandit. You might lose your 5, 10 bucks. But you know what? It's all right. You weren't going to have it anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly a more safer approach than spending money on graphics cards that you can't afford to lose. But
well,
even
I
if
would
you do,
suggest
if you
you
do have the
spend
money,
anything, not a dime, on something you can't afford to lose. That's called gambling. I don't gamble.
But even if you can afford it, the prices that these cards are being released at, it doesn't make it a must. You know, it's not like an instant buy. It's not a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, at the 20%, you know, hash increase or performance increase, but 2,100 what 210 watts? Is that what you said out of one card?
About 250, 260 for the 2080 Ti. So it's about the same. Essentially, it's about the same electricity-wise. I think we might see a 30-40% increase in hash rate and performance, but we're also going to see a 100% increase in price from a 1080 Ti. So any kind of hash, you know, to me anyway, it seems like any benefit you would get from an increased hash rate is offset by the fact that you're paying double the price for a 1080 Ti, you know, than you would for a 2080 Ti. So for me, it's a hard sell. It's really not making me jump out there and buy a 20 Ti. There's no guarantee what the hash rates are yet. We'll need to wait and see what they say. But right now, if you're looking to buy, you know, spend money on GPUs, you know, I suspect the 1080 Ti's are going to come down, the retail cost and the used cost. So perhaps buying two 1080 Ti's at this point makes much more sense than buying one 2080 Ti. But we're talking about all this blind. You know, you pointed this out at the very start of the stream. You were saying it's kind of all speculation, and we're just talking in the wind right now. You know, we're just kind of guessing a lot of this and reading between the lines by looking at the specifications.
I don't know. I think $1,200 that you're going to invest in. You know, if somebody wants to crunch the numbers, a couple of bucks a day.
Yeah.
that's really going to take a long time to pull back $1,200 USD, and you can convert that into whatever country you're from. But I don't know. I think that you can spend a lot less than $1,200 and make a lot more back than you'll get back for that. If you bought your $1,200 card, pre-ordered it, and you sold it a year from now, but you spent that same money and sold it, say, come about December, I think you'd be a little better off. I don't know. It's just my personal opinion and nothing else. But I'm not jumping into the hype, not at that cost and not at that power usage for sure.
Yeah, and I think that seems to be the general consensus right now. That seems to be the general consensus, that these things are a lot higher than they thought they would be. If this, if this 2080 Ti came out and it was the same price as the 1080 Ti came out, if it was the same price, then it's a different story. But NVIDIA, this is the thing, no one's really talking about this, that the Ti version of the graphics cards has increased by, like 30-40% in price. No one's talking about this. We're talking about this from a mining point of view. If you just look at it from a gamer's point of view, or just the fact that their main product, they have bumped up the price of each one of their, the range of cars that they sell. Each one has went up by a significant amount, and I think it's went up in value. It's went up in price more than what we're going to get in hash rate. So
yeah, well, I think that the one thing, I guess the elephant in the room that hasn't been mentioned is, they kick out these new cards with higher hash rates per slot, in your motherboard. There goes the difficulty, and in whatever you're mining, and hey, they'll kick out a new ASICs for it, and there goes the difficulty in mining. So, I'm looking at, okay, so 2-3 months after you bought your card, you have it, you've made $60-80, difficulty goes up, now you're making $2 a day.
Yeah,
you better like video games.
But not even, the thing is, even from a mining point of view as well, like as you say, you better like video games, but like my 1080 Ti is making me like 80 pence, and that's before electricity. So forgetting electricity, I could be buying this card for £1,100 and I only make like £1 back, which means that my break-even point in the current environment is like 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah, that's almost insane. 3, yeah.
Hi, Neil. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's like 3 years or so. I mean, obviously, it'd probably be sooner than that. If you mined your coins and you held your coins and things like that, it would be sooner than that. But there's never any guarantee.
But, as you're mining, new stuff comes out along the way, and you'll make less and less. So it's like, I just think that the GPU mining market is beginning to dwindle, and either we're going to have some splits that completely break off the ASIC somehow, some way, or it's going to be a continual fight against them. But I don't see any of it being easy or cheap.
I don't think ASICs are going away. I really don't. I think, if anything, we might see a lot more GPUs
too much money.
Over to
what Fred said, Ant made something like $3-4 billion in 17.
Yeah,
ASIC ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and I think a lot of developers as well. I mean, as I said, you fast forward a year from now, and if there's less people owning GPUs, less people within the cryptocurrency world anyway, if there's less people owning GPUs, then chances are, if you want to get support from your community, you'd have to support an ASIC mining friendly algorithm. And it could switch. We could see more coins being released right from the start as an ASIC coin rather than a GPU coin that then switches to an ASIC coin. Very interesting subject, though. I think it's going to be. I'm going to be following this a lot over the next few days and over the next few weeks. I think there's going to be a lot of guessing, though, isn't there? I don't think anyone's going to come out with anything concrete as far as hash rates go. It's going to be a lot of speculation at this point.
Well, once the NDA is released, off of NVIDIA. Then we'll have Nexus Gamer and we'll have Linus and stuff like those. Those guys come in and they'll show us what it runs. Bits be tripping, guys like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I believe half of what you see, none of what you hear. And
like that.
It's not here yet. We're all just talking and being friends tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do a live stream. I was reading a lot about it, and just, I think a lot of people in Discord communities were doing the same. They were just talking about it and theoretically what these cards can do. I think in the short term, what we could see is, well, one of the things that we could see within the next few weeks is a lot of people selling their GPUs. So maybe we should be checking eBay over the next few weeks. We'll see what happens. Over the next few weeks. Are people going to start selling their GPUs? At this point, it just makes sense for me to keep mining for the money that we get from my GPUs. I'd rather just keep them.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say get rid of nothing. No, don't shut them off. I think that we're just kind of in the rough mid-year, cycle.
Yeah,
which
we're
is
in the slump.
It's the way it's looked for the last several years. So it's, we're in that mid-year bum, and that's okay. I think I'm very confident it'll come back. But I'm not going to go buy no ASICs, and I'm not going to go buy no bright, shiny objects just because they got a bright, shiny red paint job or, water cooling or LED lights. I don't really care about all that. I don't want to spend my money on stupid stuff. I've wanted to invest it. And so I think that the perspective to maintain during all of it is, are you investing or are you playing? If it's a hobby, have fun. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Have fun. If you've got the money to blow, have a ball.
Yeah.
If you're tight on coin, don't be blowing money you can't afford. If you just, you've got a little bit and you want to get in and get your feet wet, buy a crypto. Buy something. Even if it's a little fraction of something, just buy something, get in there and learn your way around. But, it's been around for since 09, basically. 11 to 13 is kind of when it really came out popular. So
I think the main was registered 10 years ago the other day. The other day was the 10-year anniversary of Bitcoin.org being registered. But, as far as when the blockchain and all that started, I think it was later on. I think it was.
Yeah, that's about right. Good detail right there.
Yeah. I saw an article about it.
I mean, we're fighting City Hall here at the end of the day. This is a cryptocurrency, unregulated, completely away from, centralized control, and they don't like it. And so none of this is going to be easy. It initially started as, hey, let's just, give our computer something to do while we're sleeping. Next thing you know, months go by and, oh Christ, everybody's like, taking a second mortgage out on the house to go buy mining equipment. It's like, whoa, calm down.
Yeah.
And difficulty goes up. We all get wrecked, and the guys that did it on credit went in a hole. But if you had it to spare, you're probably doing okay. So it kind of proof to the pudding, is don't blow what you can't afford to lose, because if you spend it, it's gone. And that's the way you should look at anything that you spend money on, whether it be a graphics card or an ASIC miner or pizza. It's like, you had the money. That's what you wanted. You got it. Toyota. Enjoy it. Have fun. But enjoy the money you spent. Don't expect that money to go multiply itself. That's called luck.
I think human nature, greed takes over. It does. There's always greed that takes over, and I think a lot of people looked at GPU miners in 2017, and if you looked at the rise of Ethereum in 2017, and then Bitcoin being $20,000 at the end of the year, it was a very good year to be a miner or just an investor in cryptocurrency. 2018 has, brought a little bit of realism to that. and reminding people that there's no guarantee in this. So, you know, I think it's a different story. You know, if you get involved in 2017, maybe you're sitting there with the profits you made last year and you're all happy. If you got involved in cryptocurrency this year, depending on what you did and what your strategy was and what you bought, you could be sitting there frustrated or just like, I'm sick of this and get out of the game altogether. But I think it goes back to what you're saying. Don't spend any money that you can't afford to lose. But people do. I mean, I have in the past as well. You know, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite if I don't say that. You know, I bought a few cars on PayPal credit, but I can, you know, paid it back. It's not like I can't afford it. But there's always that nature of greed, I think, in any kind of investment, whether it be, you know, stocks and shares, forex trading, you know, currency trading, or cryptocurrency. There's always people looking to make money. I think one of the biggest criticisms of a lot of people is they come into cryptocurrency and they're looking to get returns in days and weeks rather than months and years.
Well, it's multifold, and then I'm gonna get I'll
Question
get the
Gurus, did you see that?
Slash's comment here in a second, but you know, when we started, it was spare, you know, usage of your machine when you weren't using it. And now it is morphed into, we're going to go buy special equipment to do this. And then the difficulties raised because of that entry of, you know, investments into that particular hardware and doing that particular job. And now that's a hard thing to compete with when you talk about, you know, rich kids, rich people, big corporations, whatever. Hey, if I owned a large company, well, I'd be kind of stupid not to, you know, take the closet, you know, of the business there and throw a couple of miners in there of whatever flavor. But I think that time is beginning to come to a close, and it's not because we want it to, and it's not because it should, and it's not even because it's the right thing. I think it's just because of the same reason everything else goes south in the world. Too much money gets involved. People start looking at the dollar, you know, percentages instead of the rights and wrongs of things. This cryptocurrency started because we didn't want our money controlled by someone else making decisions on how much that loaf of bread cost.
Yeah.
And today, we've kind of lost touch of why this all came about. And I just say that as a global perspective of the cryptocurrency environment.
Well, there's a good example of that this week.
Why it became what it is. They just kind of all saw the money and jumped in, and they don't know why. And I think that understand why helps guide you along the way on what maybe is best or not best for you to do.
Well, we've
and
seen some
nobody
examples
can really
of that
give
recently.
you those answers. You ought to figure them out yourself. But that's the kind of perspective that you should go into it with, in my opinion.
Well, we've seen this recently. Venezuela. I don't know if did you see any news stories about that the last few days, where the inflation is through the roof. I think there was some stories about Turkey's inflation. Saw some people talking about Iran as well. I'm not sure about that, but I know Venezuela, the last few days, the inflation has been insane. And, you know, this kind of hyperinflation, we've seen it in the past in war-torn zones, and we saw it with the, you know, the Greek economy and all that as well. And we saw it with the banking crisis 10 years ago as well, which is kind of how Bitcoin and all this came out from the ashes of that. Bye, Jet. But yeah, it's a fair point. You know, we kind of sometimes get lost in it and we forget why this was all created in the first place. And everyone watching this and everyone, you know, chatting today, we're all early adopters. And as early adopters, you want to get rewarded for your investment, but greed does take over. I think everyone here wants to make a huge amount of money with their cryptocurrency. We all want to make money from it.
Well, yeah, you know, I think that window is past. You know, when everybody just wanted to, you know, burn their CPUs while they were sleeping and make a couple of bucks, well, that was easy. because there was no competition. Well, now we have big money competition, so it's not so easy anymore. Is it still, is it still a good idea to get into it? Yeah, why not? Because of the reason that you're doing it. If you're just doing it to make money, then you're in the wrong business. Go fire up your own business. Learn how to build your own thing. If you just, I don't know. I think I've said it best way I could before, and I don't want to repeat it, but I don't know. Just be careful. Don't spend anything you can't afford to lose, because you might. And in this cryptocurrency, it's volatile, but we're fighting against, City Hall here. We're fighting against regulations and central control, and that bread that I bought last year cost me $1. This week, cost me $2. It's still $1, but it cost me twice as much, which means my money was worth half as much. Well, if I can have currency that I can use that's not really, able to be screwed with, that's a good idea. But now it's being screwed with. So I don't know. I don't know what the smart decisions are these days, but I do know that I still believe in the idea of what cryptocurrency stands for and why I started it, and I'm not going anywhere. Hey, if I lose money along the way, cool. I only spent the money I could afford to lose, and I'm all right with that. When you can't pay the rent because you bought another card, that was your fault. It wasn't the cryptocurrency's fault. It wasn't, your particular coin's fault. It wasn't your graphics card or your ASICs. It was you. So don't do stupid stuff. Watch out for yourself. And if you've got money to invest, that's the thing. It's you're investing it. You give it away. And unless I have something back, I expect to lose it. In cryptocurrency, you just give it away. It's gone. You see it, but can you get it back? So, I know that if I gave $20 to Ethereum last year or $20 to Bitcoin last year, I can get my money back. If I gave my bank $20 last year and I want my 20 back this year, am I going to get my 20? So I believe in the cause, not exactly the current market or, what's going on. I believe in the cause. And so I'm sticking for the cause.
As far as markets go, markets are going to go up, markets are going to go down. This is the thing. And you make a good point about, you're saying that, worrying about even if you lose money. And if you invest in the right project, then you will ride the wave of the coin going up and down in price, and you just leave your coins there. Whether you just hold the coins in a wallet or you invest in a masternode or you do whatever. But if you do like the project and you do like what they're doing, forgetting about trading, then in the long haul, then you should make money anyway. If you do choose the right the right projects. There's never any guarantee. Never any guarantee of anything in this game. Which a lot of people are starting to recognize this year.
You've touched base on this subject a couple of times, and I've never commented, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up now. You make a good point. A masternode, in the very basics, the way a masternode works is you're controlling one of the hubs of that currency itself, and so the transactions that happen, in your node that you contribute to, you get a small portion of. So all the fees that we pay to, send Johnny $5 or, the Pizza Hut $10, whatever, you make a small portion of those fees. I think that is a smart move, because no matter how much, hash rate gets thrown into a coin or anything, if it's utilized and people use it, you are going to get paid a small portion for them using it and your contribution to getting it done. So that's contributing to the cause. and you deserve to get something back. That is a smart idea. If the currency is actually being used, you know, whatever currency that may be, then yeah, I think you're in a good position. Mining, I don't know at this point, just because of the competition. But
it's
still
interesting
running
because,
mine.
but from a block reward point of view, a lot of you know, I was unaware of this recently until I spoke about this as well. But a lot of masternode coins, it's the miners that do 100% of the work, and yet the masternodes are kind of, you know, superficial. So the miners are doing all the work. There's certain coins where, you know, 20% goes to proof of work. So the block reward 20% are going to miners, but the miners are actually the one, you know, doing 100% of the work, and yet the masternodes are actually claiming 80% of the coins. It's kind of strange the way that's set up, but a good masternode, then that shouldn't be the case, you know. Yeah, it's the reason I was bringing up masternodes earlier on is because from an investment point of view, what do you do if you've got $5,000 or $10,000 today? You're buying used GPUs, new GPUs, FPGAs, ASIC miners, masternodes, coin, you know, just buying coins directly, or are you just keeping it in US dollars or euros or pounds, yen, whatever? There's a good argument for just keeping it in fiat right now, you know, until we know what's happening.
Well, one thing I'm not going to do is keep it in fiat. One thing I don't do is I don't trust our government. I don't trust your government. I don't trust none of them.
Yeah.
You know, our country, you know, in the United States, you know, point of view is, hell, they legalized bribery. We just called it lobbying. It's legal.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know, now you just gave big money the ability to make their own laws. Okay, well, they pulled that off, and that's kind of why I got into it, was to kind of circumvent all that. I don't want you little rich guys sitting up there taking golf vacations telling me how much my bread cost.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to get away from it. And hey, here's a little bit of coin that, hey, you know, I'll throw it at this because I believe in it. I'd just as soon see the USD, the British pound, the yen, all of them. I'd just as soon see them all go to zero. And we'll all just, you know, work on a non-centralized form of currency that can't be exploited, can't be, you know, increased. They can't mess with it. But is giving big business the ability to control that price a good idea? No, because when I got involved, it was one cheap BU, one vote. You know, you had a graphics card, you had a vote in how much that thing was worth and what power you put to it and blah, blah, blah. And now we've got large businesses, not from my country or, you know, just in the middle of nowhere, and they're cranking out these hardwares that are kicking out these coins, and, well, I can't compete with that. And the price they want to sell me their used equipment or equipment that they didn't put to market for 3 months until they were done using it with the current difficulties is, yeah, I don't know. I don't like chasing tail. I just feel like we call it hind tit. You know, I just feel like as a person, as a retail purchaser, we're all in hind tit, you know, area. We're not getting the biggest and the best and the greatest and the newest. We're getting something that somebody else already made a replacement with. So they released an S9. You know, they got an S11 and a warehouse full of them somewhere crunching some numbers. And as soon as the difficulty goes up, they're going to come out with an S11. And that's my fear. You know, I don't know that, but that's what I'm thinking might happen.
But I think with a lot of this stuff, like I'm, you know, I don't trust any politician. I don't trust any government. But I also recognize it's kind of catch-22, is that if cryptocurrency isn't going to be accepted by governments, if it's not going to be regulated, then cryptocurrency is going to continue to be the Wild West. And you're going to see scams, and you're going to see big companies like Bitmain do whatever they want and control the market and things like that. You know, that, I mean, I guess this moves away from mining, I guess, but you know, it kind of raises a lot of questions as to where cryptocurrency goes.
It's not, because I came from the precious metals world, and so I'll put your comment into absolute direct perspective. That's the same thing they said when we used to be able to have gold and silver in our jewelry box.
Yep.
And when our currency was based on an actual entity that we could value. Now it's based on what? What is the currency based on? My country
nothing.
owes damn near $90 trillion. Our GDP don't even cover the interest.
Yeah.
So
most Western countries are in debt.
Fiat's a good idea at all.
Yeah, well, most Western countries are in
going
debt.
up in a mushroom cloud.
It's almost depressing when we start talking about this, because you start talking about the governments and how they, you know, how they manipulate things. From a cryptocurrency point of view, I think I guess we've got a lot of ups and downs and a lot of things to work out over the next few years, but I'm hoping it does get worked out and hopefully they don't corrupt it too much. I do think that unless the governments want to adopt it and regulate it, it's going to be hard for cryptocurrency to become, you know, adopted on a mass scale.
Well, I take a slightly different perspective. Governments will adopt it when they're forced to, when their currency is not worth, you know, when how would you say it? When the confidence of our current government-based currency, when that confidence, you know, falters, what will you find confidence on? You know, and we always had a backup, you know, in the last, it's been 80 years, not quite 80, 70 maybe. We, in my country, we had the comfort of, well, if my dollar's not good, I can grab my, you know, Morgans and my peace dollars made out of silver. I can go and use those. Well, they outlawed that for a few years, and then they backed that off. So it's like they've already done everything they can to prevent us from having any storage of wealth.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my country, they don't print anything over $100 bill anymore. That wasn't always the case, but we don't print anything over a $100 bill. We used to make them a lot bigger. The idea seems to be that they didn't want us to have an easily transferable large amount of wealth to move around without their say-so, and out come plastic.
Yeah, without them tracking, without them taxing, without them getting their share.
Yeah, and so, you know, out comes cryptocurrency, and hey, we can do whatever we want, and we don't care what you think. And that worked for a minute, and then that pissed them off. And they came in and, you know, made a mess of things, and we tried to go around them, and we're still doing it now. I don't know where the chips are going to fall. I really don't. You know, I'd like to think that, hey, you know, I'll be able to go affordably buy a loaf of bread for my family and the kids, and life will be good, and we'll all be sipping fruity drinks with an umbrella in it, you know. But I don't know. When my country's, you know, spending billions and trillions of dollars funding military guys going to play army every weekend, I don't know. Systematically invading another country for the global resources, I don't know, man. Shit's going south. So I just opted to try to do something a little different, you know, and why not? I got the money to spare, but don't do anything you can't spare, because you might lose it. And let's just say you will. but you tried, and that's something. So
Yeah.
I'm going to keep trying because I'm not giving up yet.
I like your mindset on this. I really do. I like the way you view this, and I like the way you view cryptocurrency. Because I think right now in this market there's a lot of doom and gloom, and you know, your whole belief on, your whole view on this is, if I can paraphrase what a lot of what you're saying, is that you believe in it, you want it to become, you know, mainstream, and if that means losing some money here or there, then so be it, for the greater good. And I do think you're right, because I think I'm guilty of this as well. I think everyone watching this is probably guilty of it as well, where you're focused, you know, you spend so much time looking at white papers, looking at the prices of coins, and you look at all these other things, and you kind of forget why this is all here in the first place. You know, because you're so focused on all these other things, all these smoke and mirrors. It's interesting. I like it because you know, a lot of these topics I think kind of border politics, but you know, they also approach philosophical kind of thinking as well. You know, as far as distribution of wealth and all this socialization and all these other things as well. And it's certainly something I think is going to come into the news more when you do see countries struggling. And if you are in a country where the inflation is super high because of, you know, political or, you know, war reasons or whatever, then you're going to see more people invest in cryptocurrency rather than their native currency. I saw that myself. Like when I was traveling, I traveled South America. I was in South America for a few years. When I was in Argentina, and I wasn't, my friends were there for the crash. So in the early 2000s, the economy in Argentina crashed, and my friend, he said that basically budgeted for Argentina being the most expensive country in South America, but when they got there, they were basically eating steaks every night because, you know, the currency had crashed so much. But when I was there, one of the things I did notice, there were certain things, you know, was a little bit more expensive than other countries like Bolivia and all that you know, that are beside it. But there were certain things like my camera, for example. I noticed it being on sale, and it was 3 times the cost that I paid for it in the UK, which is fine. Certain countries with import taxes and all that, the electronics are more expensive. I saw that in New Zealand. But one of the things I did notice was that at the time, I don't know if it's still the case, but in Argentina, you know, when I was traveling South America, my backup currency, or one of my main currency, was also to have US dollars, because you can always exchange US dollars. If you run out of pesos, you can always exchange US dollars. But in Argentina, you couldn't exchange money for US dollars. There was a limit to something like, you know, a few $100s at most, and you had to go to the bank to get that. And the main reason was they didn't want anyone exchanging their Argentinian pesos for US dollars. So you couldn't even get US dollars in Argentina, even if you wanted to. It just wasn't possible. And I couldn't get US dollars again until I went into Uruguay. Little things like this, you don't realize, you know, you might look at it and go, well, you know, that's Argentina, it would never happen in the USA or the UK or Europe. But governments, they will implement measures like that when and if they think it's necessary, if they think it's going to protect the economy. In the case of Argentina, I think, you know, I don't claim to be an expert on that or someone that's an expert on economics, but they're obviously concerned that people weren't going to store wealth in their native currency. They were going to store it in US dollars. So they couldn't control, you know, what was happening as far as their own country. But
and that's kind of, you know, I think what brought all this on was lack of the ability to control what your worth was worth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it was the middle class that had.
Stephen Wilson said it real good. That, hey Kev, I think crypto is going to need a big global retailer to adopt it for everything they sell. And you're right. You know, it's going to take somebody like Newegg or Amazon or something like that. But at the same time, they've got to piss off the exact government and financial institutions that support them.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, credit cards. Basically, it's all plastic. So
yeah,
if they go accepting Bitcoin, well, that's great. But I don't think MasterCard and Visa is going to approve, because they're going to get less, and maybe that'll piss off some of their friends. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think
It's rough.
if we do see someone like Amazon or something, adopting cryptocurrency, I think Amazon would be a significant, one that would certainly have influence as to whether cryptocurrency becomes more popular. That would certainly change some things. I know in the UK there's a lot of computing shops, Scan, and there's a few others that do accept Bitcoin and actually actively encourage it. But for Amazon to accept it, that could be a game changer. Amazon is in so many regions, and it's the number one retailer in so many regions. Excuse me. So I do think that would be a major change and a major boost. That's the sort of thing that would really push the price of many cryptocurrencies up.
Oh, that would definitely. It wouldn't just turn the tables. It'd probably blow the house down off the hill.
Yeah, I mean, it could change things.
That would be major. If a major retailer took cryptocurrency, that immediately brings in a pile of money. So I don't know. That's pissing off a lot of their friends, and I think that Amazon has a lot of big money friends right now, and I'm not sure they want to aggravate them. So I can't say that it'd probably happen, but I sure wish it would.
Yeah. Well, the next few years are going to be very interesting, I think. I think they're going to be very interesting. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to...
3 months are going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely with the ETF, definitely with the new GPUs, ASIC miners, FPGAs. Cryptocurrency is crazy. It is like if you... In a week, if you follow news in cryptocurrency for a week, the amount of news and different stories coming from around the world, and I do think a lot of the news that we're reading is quite biased as to what's happening in Europe and North America. We're not hearing what's happening in Asia, which can be very influential as to what happens in cryptocurrency as well. But a lot of the major events over there aren't being, translated over as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I can't even make a better statement than I did before. Just muddy waters. Right now there's a lot of big money flying around, and ain't a whole lot of it, ours as GPU miners. Not a lot of it's ours. When you look at the percentages of how much money's invested into, this realm of things, I don't know. So I think that we're in for some tough times. I think mining is, probably going to change. I really do. I think here by the end of the year, mining will probably be a lot different than it is right now.
Yep.
I don't think that the cryptocurrency markets are going to be any different. Right now, short of them trying to regulate our internet and our bandwidth and, limit what we're allowed to see and view and go see and learn, without them turning all that off, people have the opportunity to find options, and they are. That's why we're where we are now. But there's a lot of big money players entering the game, and so yeah, I think we're in for a little rocky road, but it's not over. It's not done by any means. I think the fight is just starting to begin, because now that, how would you say it? I think the cryptocurrency has finally gotten their attention, and it's not one coin or anything. I think it's the market has gotten their attention. They're looking at, the market value of these things and adding it up and going, oh, we're not making any taxes on all that, and starting to get interested. And big money starting to enter the realm. Of the pie. So it's going to get weird.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to tie up the live stream at this point, guys, because it's very late here. But I think I speak for everyone when I say thanks, Marsyus. You've been absolutely fantastic. You have been my co-host today.
I appreciate it.
It's been obviously this wasn't planned. I just say, does anyone want to join on, join in the stream? You've come on, and it's been great talking to you and getting an insight into the way that you view cryptocurrency. I'd love to have you on again in a future live stream if you ever want to chat. So
I'll be happy to, but you got to do me one favor.
Okay.
Take my name Learn how it's spelled. Look up Marsyus, and then
Marsyus.
look at the first time Libertas was ever mentioned, and then you'll find the meaning of my name.
Marsyus Libertas.
Libertas. Libertas was the first time Libertad and Liberty was ever mentioned.
Right. Oh, right. So this is a Latin thing, like in Rome.
Marsyus is actually a legitimate piece of our history. And the icon that I have is